Today I want to talk about a lot of what I do talk about is about understanding yourself deeper, better, and finding that authentic connection with yourself and exploring who you really are. And I think a good tool there, or an interesting exercise, might be something that I did this years ago. I don't even remember what was the book that I was reading, but I was in my reading phase. And a lot of times my friends would receive messages from me or questions from me that they would have to, well, they didn't have to answer, but they ended up answering a lot of times. Um, and one of those questions was, how do you see me? And I wanted them to say the good and the bad, or positive and maybe not as positive. And I remember I was really interested. I found some answers really interesting for several reasons. Um, One was some people that I assumed I didn't know them that well. They gave really insightful answers that you could clearly see that they have been paying attention to me and the way I am and observing certain things about me. That was one thing, but also a lot of them, I learned a lot about myself because I think a lot of times we live in our own heads, and in some ways we can end up being our biggest critics or saboteurs, where we don't really focus as much on the positives or things that we are doing well or things that are good. We focus more on things that need to get done, things that aren't where we want them to be, and stuff like that. And there were a lot of messages that I received from those people that really made me stop and think and slowly start to see myself from different perspective. It's so interesting thinking back on it because this is probably 10 years ago now that I asked that question, and I think I was like 18, 17 years old. And I remember there was one a friend of mine who answered that he sees me as a leader. And it really threw me off. I think I was thinking about it for 2 weeks. I was like, what? Me, a leader? Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, what? It was, and I remember I was thinking about it for literally at least 2 weeks. I was like, can I be a leader? No, maybe. Nah, and there were several things that I got. There was like another person who said that I am not that I'm taking things too seriously, but I need to learn to like rest or relax or take things easy. Because I would always be either working or studying or self-development stuff or waking up at 5 a.m. doing my workouts and all this kind of stuff. And it was really, and another thing that was interesting was one of my classmates, she wrote that before even answering the question, she was like, why do you care what others think? Why do you need to measure your worth or the way you see yourself based on what others tell you? And I remember I was trying to explain to her that for me, it's a chance for me to see myself from different perspectives. Because the perspective or the version of me that I see, it doesn't mean that it's the real version of me because I can have distorted vision based on my limiting beliefs or some assumptions or some perceptions that I have. Where if somebody from the side tells me that I'm good at something, or they see that, oh, actually, you're good at this or you're good at that, it can help me expand that vision of me. It can help me to see some of my blind spots and things that I need to work on that I might not be able to see with where I'm at right now. And I definitely can learn something new about myself. I learned so many things about myself that I kind of knew, But it's different when somebody from the side communicates to them and puts them in perspective that can make you think or reflect or see yourself slightly from different angle. So what I would invite you to do in case if you want to one learn more about yourself, but also see how well others see you because you might be surprised. I definitely was surprised and I didn't expect some of the answers, especially from some specific people where I'll be like, okay, I can ask them. And then they answer in like really clear detail, really like specific. And I'll be like, whoa, okay. Um, and I learned something on top of it. So I would probably suggest to, if you do want to do that, to reach out to some people that are um, close in your life, but be okay with getting negative as well. Or if you're not open to that, then you can just ask the positives. In my case, I was really curious to see both sides and literally just ask them, how do you see me? Good, bad? I won't get mad. I just want to know, how do you see me? And you might be surprised at the answers that you get and the things you also might learn about the people that give you the answers.